Thank you, everyone. Just a brief introduction. I am the managing director for Invent. We are an agency that really specializes in brand storytelling. You may have met some of my colleagues here today and learned a little bit about some of the stories that we tell for some of our brands. I'm here today with David, who is going to bring to life one of the other mantras for the agency, which is to challenge everything. We describe ourselves as a challenger agency for challenger brands because we love to push the status quo, but oftentimes many times we love for our clients to challenge us. When we're receiving a brief, we're going to ask, why is this or why not, or why can't we do something like this? And that usually is going to offer up better outcomes, improved outcomes, and better results. So David's going to share his experiences of some programs that we did for him this past year. So with that, David, please share a little bit about yourself and Hitachi Vantara. So the business of Hitachi Vantara, what do they do?
Cool, thank you so much, Claudia. Hi, everybody. My name is David Kolundzija, Head of Global Events at Hitachi Vantara. Now, Hitachi is a global organization, $100 billion organization, headquartered in Japan, with over 900 subsidiary Hitachi Group companies. So quite huge. Hitachi Vantara are one of those subsidiary companies, and we are all things data, data infrastructure, data solutions, and we are the data foundation for innovation.
And I think it's interesting as well because a lot of people may not be familiar with the Vantara side of the business. So before the rebranding, what was this business called? And really the evolution as to why then it went to Vantara. I thought that was really interesting when we talked about this the other day.
Sure. So we were Hitachi Data Systems, and back in 2015, 2016, things decided to shift because IoT became prevalent, and just we're moving into the era that we're in today. So the company didn't feel like data systems meant it was too small for what it was. So we just grew into being called Hitachi Vantara, and now it's adopted all things data. So in a very brief description.
And so tell us about your role within the business. What your title, official title, and then what that means and what you're doing on a day-to-day basis.
Yeah, of course. So I'm head of global events for Hitachi Vantara, headquartered out of the US, based in London though. So we look after the corporate side of Hitachi global events. We'd have a list of strategic tier 1 events that we would execute across the globe every year. And they're the ones that we focus on, the marquee tier 1 events.
And when you talk about those tier 1 events, the business needs for those events and the objectives there. You've got global events and then you have these regional events. Why are there global events and what you're managing versus then the other events and the regionals?
So we divide things into thought leadership and demand generation. So we here at corporate, we would look after the thought leadership-based events and the brand awareness, whereas the more demand gen-driven events are run out of the field marketing teams. So the difference between the region and the corporate.
And there's the different markets, right? So there's EMEA and APAC
and the
Americas. Now, last year you came to us with a challenge. Tell us a little bit about what that initial challenge was and then the journey that we went on together and the evolution of that.
Yeah, of course. So prior to COVID, we were running one global event with a couple thousand attendees in Las Vegas, as I'm sure most organizations were. COVID came and put an end to all of that. And we had to go into the virtual space, which we all went into. Coming out of that, there was a desire to come back to in-person events. But it was how far do we go? Do we go back to where we were, or do we crawl, walk, run type of thing? So in our crawl, walk, run, we're like, what is the right strategy to take? What is the right approach? How do we dip our toes back into this world of physical events that had to consider safety and all the rest of it? So we thought, let's target our most senior C-level customers, our customers, analysts, prospects, and partners, and just get a feel for what they would want to experience. So it's one thing for us to sit there in an organization and go, I want to do this event, and we have all these crazy ideas, but that's what we want to do. What do they want to experience? So reached out to a couple of customers and went, hello, Mr. Friendly Customer. Share with us, what are you looking for when you come to an event? Why would you choose to come to an event over another event? And I suppose that's what we came to you and went, hey, Claudia, we have a concept to do this event series called an exchange. And there was a specific reason we wanted to call it an exchange, because it was an exchange of ideas, exchange of concepts. And it wasn't just us being Hitachi standing on stage going, hey, we want to tell you about everything that we do and we're all so amazing. We want to hear what the customers have to say. We want to hear what the prospects have to say. We want to be that exchange of ideas, that thought leadership that means a little bit more to us certainly than just standing up on stage and delivering a message, which of course is important, but it truly is, in my opinion, about what the customer wants to experience and hear, and then we built the experience around that.
I thought it was so brilliant, the name of the event as well, because it is perfect for that. In today's world, there's the you want to do less talking too, but actually facilitating those conversations and bringing together of these communities. So what did it look like if we start with then the EMEA event and the Europe event? What was unique about that, or how did you come up with that concept and idea?
Yeah, so we wanted to create a hook for each of these geo-regions and a why to come above and beyond great content, which is absolutely paramount. What kind of experience did we want to have the customer experience? So our CEO decided to sponsor the Rugby World Cup in Paris in October last year. So we thought, oh, what a great opportunity to hook that into this experience that it's been paid for, it's leveraged. Let's jump on that bandwagon and create an experience out of that. So for Europe, Middle East, and Africa, if you don't know the acronyms, I know we've all got 1,000 different acronyms, but for us, that's EMEA. We used the Rugby World Cup to create an experience around for our C-suite people. And it was just, really, really interesting to tap into that. Certainly new for me. We had a conversation earlier around sponsorships and stuff, and that was dipping our toe into the whole sponsorship arena.
And I think the culmination of that as well, and the draw, people wanted to come for the thought leadership and also the exchange, right? But there was something that was also quite innovative and unique in that with, if you think about then the keynote, that wasn't the opening keynote, but tell us a little bit about the day and how that went.
Yeah, so we thought, okay, let's kick it off with our vision, mission, and strategy, which all they want to hear about. So our CMO began the event with that. And then we did an analyst panel session, and we did a futurist for the CIO of 2025. And then we had a panel of a customer partner and an analyst sitting down and giving us their various insights. And then we broke out into two breakout sessions where the exchange really brought itself to life. So small round tables where we had a scribe taking notes and creating content that would live on post-event, obviously. And then we just deep dived into that content and really just spent 2 minutes positioning something and then just let the audience contribute to that conversation.
And the closing keynote, tell us about that before everyone went on to the rugby game, of course.
So obviously position it for the right reason. The rugby is why we're there. So we got an amazing speaker, Sam Warburton, to come and close the event. For those of you who may or may not know him, amazing speaker. We just leveraged the fact that he was already in the location. So from a cost perspective, we were able to get a bit of a better deal for that. And he came along and did the closing presentation. And he was able to pitch his presentation all around data, which is what we sell. So the fascinating data points that he shared with us about what happens in a rugby game from a data perspective and how they become better players and all the different things that they're able to get insights on because of the data that is all around the rugby. So he positioned it and set it up beautifully. So then we took our customers over into the rugby for the evening. So they sat there watching rugby from a different perspective. It wasn't just oh yeah, cool, yeah, amazing fans, great experience, but it was, oh, what are they recording? What does it look like? What are they calculating? It was just a really different perspective on that whole experience.
Yeah, I love the connectivity to that. It wasn't just taking them to an evening, which I think at the start of it could have been that, right? It was just an evening hospitality of we've secured the sponsorship, we're going to bring clients. Actually, let's take advantage of the time that we have with our most key customers and make something out of that. So the APAC event, that was going to be in many different locations. How many different ones was it? Pip? Was it like 24 maybe potential locations?
As event organizers, we get direction from leadership. Yeah, we want to have an event here, go make it happen. When you bring the proposal back, yeah, don't like that, pick somewhere else. Yeah, don't like that, pick somewhere else. I think 20 iterations of some presentations that we pulled together and proposals, we finally landed on a location in India. And it was a little bit off the beaten track. So it wasn't Delhi or Mumbai, all those major hubs. It was in a place called Udaipur in Rajasthan. And we thought, what makes this place unique? Why did we choose that location? We chose it because it was special to the local market. So we tapped into the people who knew what they were talking about in country, rather than us sitting at corporate going, yeah, we're putting on an event and we know everything. What is important to the people in that location? What do they want to experience? Where would they want to go? And we made decisions based on that to create that phenomenal experience that we had in India. And
you said there were a lot of learnings when you did the recce, or the site visit, right? So the learnings from that helped. Yeah, definitely. Look,
we're all event professionals. We know the importance of a site visit. I can't stress that enough. You can't build a house if you haven't seen the land. It's just so important to go and experience this firsthand when you're there, to understand the way the sun shines, where where the opening session's going to be, what the building looks like. So just taking the locals with us, the local field marketing teams with us, who understand the culture, the experience, what we can, what we can't do, what we should, what we shouldn't do, really helped us define that experience that was right for the people who are going to be there.
I think there's something to be said as well about bridging the connections between your role in the business and global events, and also then the field marketing. So that also broke down perhaps some tensions between, okay, we've got this group coming in and they know everything, but actually then they were a part of that, and co-creation.
Definitely. I mean, you pulled a core group of people together to create these events, and they were absolutely part of that core team. Whilst myself and the team took on the heavy lift of creating that experience and doing the work for it, the collaboration was absolutely critical to make sure we did it the right way.
Yeah. Okay, and now Americas. Let's talk about then the North American event. As you're hearing, as you learn, each of the markets truly were unique, though there was consistency of message for Hitachi Vantara. But the US event, I was going to say the New York event, was in New York, and tell us a little bit about why.
Yeah, so the American market is a market that we wanted to grow. And we're like, well, how do we reach out to our key target audience that doesn't involve just using our same database that we build and message each and every time? So we partnered up with the Wall Street Journal to focus on the finance sector. They have the context, they have the database, they have the expertise, they have the speakers. So aligning with that brand really, really helped us get the right people to attend that event. And looking at the venue and the stuff that we chose, the experience that we chose in New York, it was really interesting because as event professionals, we create a brand identity, and we take that through consistency, and we leverage all the goodness that we create from event 1 all the way 2, 3, and 4. However, when we got to event 3 in New York, and we walked into the venue, and we thought, ooh, our event branding doesn't make sense in this venue because of the floor, because of the walls, because of that. So it would just be a really awkward event experience if the branding wasn't positioned right. So we just called our creative team and went, we need you to revise this. So we sent really detailed, high-res CAD drawings to them and renders of the space, the site visit being really important. And our team turned around in 48 hours, a whole new brand look and feel that made sense for that environment. And it was just such a success because of that. He just lifted it and gave it it's a completely different feel for the same content and that same event.
New York is a very large place. There's massive spaces and options and venues. So the hotel that was selected there, the Beekman, coupled with these still quite targeted audience events. Tell us a little bit about that, because it was quite, if we say, homely and right personalized still for all of the attendees.
Yeah, definitely. It wasn't a big chain at all. I wanted something really boutique and unique and just bespoke, something that I would want to experience, certainly something that we thought would be super interesting for the customers to experience as well. And I think we found a gem there in the Beekman. Even Victoria Beckham, she did a Vogue shoot there the following day, so I thought, oh, hello. That was a pretty interesting thing to experience. But just something off the beaten track, something a little bit different, but unbeknownst to me, obviously not being an American, that was a really big draw, and one of the reasons what brought people to that event as well was the venue. So choosing a venue, as you all know, is critical to our event process.
Okay, let's talk sustainability. It's a critical element and consideration I think we're all pressured with in so many ways, and it's gone beyond just having recycled structures, right? So from Hitachi Vantara's perspective, there's certainly, it's critical to the mission of your business. What were some ways in which you incorporated sustainability, inclusive of DEI, into these events?
I think for us, sustainability, certainly when we're in an event process, I always like to think about where else can this be used? Why are we doing this? Is it reusable? Is it a one and done, or does it live on? And how does it live on, and where does it live on? And it's not just about the core team, it's going, hey, what do we want to create from this, and what's post-event? And bring in the people who need to use that post-event. Maybe they have some great ideas. Maybe they can help collaborate with you and help you to make sure that this event is sustainable in many ways. Yes, you've got the stuff of recycled fabrics and all the rest of it, but in our events, we didn't have giveaways. We just decided that merchandise giveaways didn't make sense for that experience or that event because it was about the experience. It wasn't about the tchotchke that we take away with us at the end of the day. So we decided to funnel the funds into the experience, memorable experience rather than just give things away.
And incorporating and leveraging the local community, there was something wonderful you did then in India.
Yeah, definitely. Rather than flying things all over the world, we thought, how do we help the local community, particularly in parts of the world like that? So for the India event, we decided to partner with local artists who provided. We created these stalls, and each stall had different goodies and kind of giveaways and things that they made from that region, and we gave them tokens, and they went and did like personalized shopping at each of those, and they just took away. It was just a really lovely thing to give back to the community, and the people who live there, just give them some back to their economy, really.
Yeah, I thought that was fantastic. And from the planning and the support side of things, it was also important for us and our event team to leverage local expertise and local teams. So there was always the core team that was working with you in each of the regions, but then we would ensure that we were incorporating local expertise, but also from a sustainability perspective, tapping into local talent and local resources who we were working with on the ground. I think that is another way to incorporate and certainly ensure that you're offsetting the carbon footprint, right? And if some of you are measuring the carbon footprint, fantastic way to be able to gauge that and ensure that you put that into your metrics. And what about then, from the Americas side of things, from the sustainability perspective, leveraging then a local Wall Street Journal, right? And being able to take advantage of all of the access that they had to local attendees versus people flying in, right? Most of them were local.
Yeah, we decided to make the New York event a commuter event, so surrounding areas and stuff, just the program lent itself to that kind of experience. We didn't want to have people stay over, we didn't go down that route. So yeah, we just made it a one-day event, had local presenters, local speakers, local experts, and that's just how we did that one, really.
Advice for the crew here. So if we think about, I was like that start, stop, and continue. So some advice for your colleagues and industry colleagues here of something as a result of this program that you recommend you start, or even that everyone else start doing.
Start planning early is my advice. I know we all love the time. Sometimes it's not possible, other times it is. definitely start early. But one of the things that you said start, continue, and stop. We did this really lovely thing where we did a white glove service and a concierge service for our attendees, which really made a difference in the end when it came to customer and attendee retention, which is something I've never experienced to this level before, and I think that played an absolute key part in the experience that we had. And by that I mean, we all send out invitation emails and we all get people, yes, we want to invite you to this event. We did it a little bit differently because we had a concierge team who made personal phone calls to each of the attendees, got to know them. Who are they? Where are they from? What do they like? Which airline do they fly with? What agenda item are they most interested in? Which breakout do they want to attend? So we really built up so much data on each of these attendees before they even turned up to the event, let alone getting to know them through that process. So when they did come on site and register, they were more like friends rather than attendees. And it was that one consistent or two consistent people throughout that white glove service that built that relationship. So when they were on site, it was a really easy way to break down those barriers. And we had 98% attendance in Paris, 114% in India. People turned up and were like, we've got no rooms, but what do you do? That's one of the challenges. How do you house...
It's a nice problem to have.
How do you house 7 additional people in a hotel that's fully booked? Yeah, okay. And then we had 100% attendance in New York. So I'm absolutely sure it's down to that personalized service that we offered throughout that entire registration process that we just wouldn't have had if we just emailed joining instructions and things like that, which I've
Makes it easier for them to say no, right, and not show up where you think, okay,
Well, yeah, you build that relationship, and it's not much more challenging to say, when you call them, hello, you're meeting us tomorrow, the car's going to pick you up. They're like, they kind of have to go through with it, really.
Yeah, they do. Let's see, I've got 2 more here. Advice for your colleagues here. Some may just be starting out, and a few years into this. I think the veterans, there's a panel that we're doing. But thinking about maybe some that are newer in their journey and starting on this. You've been doing this for quite a while. Advice for those that are kind of starting on the journey of what you would say to them.
I think this is a business where you have to love what you do, otherwise we wouldn't be here. And it's not a 9 to 5. If you expect a 9 to 5, you're in the wrong place for sure. But you have to find a balance as well. And I know we work super, super hard, but I think in my downtime moments, sometimes where I've had the most inspiration. So it's really important to find that balance. But you've absolutely got to love what you do, and you've just got to be kind to each other. I think that's one of the most important things. We're so in a top 5 stressful jobs in the world, right? And we've just got to be kind to each other because we're all experiencing tension and stress and pressure in these high moments that don't forget to be kind to each other.
It's interesting as well when you build in, we all talk about, okay, your work-life balance and you have to take your time out or whichever, but don't you find that oftentimes when it is that you're walking on the treadmill or taking that break is when those ideas actually, you have those aha moments where you think, and you can come back to your desk and be like, I just thought of this as, the brilliant idea. So putting those elements and giving yourself that time is actually when your brain can breathe and come up with those ideas.
And when you are in that downtime, paying attention to the present moment and what is around you, I've gotten such inspiration from just being around nature and seeing how Mother Nature works and I'm kind of analyzing that a little bit more. And when you take that time to breathe and get off your device and just, head up and look around you, just magic can happen, really.
And this is your first ICE.
Yes, it is.
Tell us a little bit about the day for you and what you found most valuable in your experience today.
Knowing that this exists, funnily enough, is just such a beautiful thing to walk in and go, we're all the same, I love it, oh my God. That's just been really, really beautiful. Also to hear everyone's stories and everyone's journey. We're all here doing the same thing, feeling the same thing, going through the same thing. So just to understand, like there's a room full of 200 people that feel what I feel and they totally get it. We've got the same pain and we've got the same excitement. And just to hear those campfire stories from some of these amazing brands, just sharing freely here that we can all learn from, I just think has been super, super valuable. So thank you, Anita, very, very much for arranging all of this. Definitely appreciate it.
David, it's been wonderful sitting around the campfire. I feel like I can eat a marshmallow now, and I've earned it, and you have too. Thank you very much for sharing your stories. I hope you guys found this informative and helpful. Thank you.
Thanks, everyone. Thank you.